Who's to blame for the Ayu Terra Resort tragedy? And Bules behaving badly, dominating local news. Stay tuned for details. Welcome to the latest news from Bali and Indonesia. This is September 11th, 2023, and my name is Bruce. What is the weather like today? Wow, it is another lovely day. 29.1 degrees Celsius, 68.9% humidity. Humidity is way up today. And the wind speed is 18.9 kilometers per hour. It is windy. And it's been windy here up in Kampung Bugis anyway for the past week. And yesterday was really windy. My granddaughter and I were out working on a project on the balcony and things were blowing all over. So I hope the weather is lovely wherever you are. And if you're here in Bali, any rain down south, I'm going to have to go down south. Is it next week? I guess it's next week. I'm going to have to go down south to get a new passport. And so I'm hoping that there's not going to be any rain. Okay, let's get into it. First story is on the Ayu Terra Resort tragedy. And both sides, the contractor and the hotel owner, blaming each other for the tragedy that happened when the elevator lost its cable and smashed to the ground, killing all 5 passengers, all resort workers. According to the article, the owner of Ayu Terra Resort apparently doesn't want to be caught in a crime alone. The proof is that the owner and the contractor seem to be shifting responsibility toward each other regarding the deadly lift collapse disaster that killed 5 workers early this month. Previously, the fatal lift contractor named Mujiana told the police that it was a mistake on the part of the hotel owner. The head of the Gianyar Resort Police stated that the contractor claims the owner installed a sling rope or cable which triggered the accident. On the other hand, the owner, Lingawati Utomo, admitted that she was tricked by Mujiani and made a report to the Bali police just yesterday. She said, "I was cheated, so I reported Mujiana regarding the criminal act of fraud." Her report to the police was because she felt disappointed and that her good name was tarnished due to the incompetent work on the lift at the resort, which resulted in the death of the 5 employees. She said the contractor is difficult to contact after the incident. She explained that with the addition of rooms at the resort, because it was full all the time, she had plans to increase the lift capacity to 8 people, upgraded from the number previously. The replacement plan was because she had no communication with the previous contractor, so she had to get a new contractor. She apparently forgot the name of the person who introduced her to Mujiana, who said he was a contractor able to work on the elevator. In further communications, he proposed that the lift at the resort be made the same as the lift at Ubud's Hanging Gardens. That lift uses 1 cable. Even with a model like that, Mujiana claimed that it could carry 9 people. The owner of Ayuterra said that Mujiana had showed her several license certificates in order to make an inclinator slant lift via cell phone. So she felt there were no problems. From several videos shown, then, he said that he had worked for several large companies and he had the licenses. The owner of Ayuterra believed that he was a professional in the field, and after agreeing on the value of work contract, he began working on the project in March of 2023. In fact, until the incident of the cable breaking, the handover had not been carried out. She said, "It's not just the material losses I'm reporting about, it's losing 5 employees who are like my own children." She said, "I'm really lost by this incident. Until now, neither the contractor or the assistant can be contacted." And so, still under investigation. However, the police say that they are getting close to making a decision on who is responsible for the tragedy. Lots and lots of news over the last few days about Bules behaving badly. News everywhere. People that have made comments here on this channel said, "I haven't gotten anything when I was at the airport at the hotel and for the do's and don'ts So I don't know what's happening there, but apparently there are a number of people doing don'ts and hitting social media hard. This is all over local social media. And I'm just going to talk about 3 of the most egregious acts. Some of the other ones, overstaying visas, traffic violations. These 3 have stood out, and they are everywhere. So let's start with the first one. So you might wonder why I have boxing gloves on the thumbnail. Let's find out why. Russian Caucasian who beat residents successfully arrested, was on the run since June. Now, I've read 6 stories about this over the last few days, and this one here is the most complete and the one that makes the most sense to me. So we're going to use this. So a Russian tourist was thrown into the South Kuta police detention cell after assaulting an Indonesian in Jimbaran. And this goes all the way back to June 27th of this year. Apparently, there was a 2-month investigation going on looking for the foreigner that was involved in this. And finally, thanks to the public information due to a viral video, the police were able to make an arrest. Only after the video went viral, the perpetrator was caught because his female friend, who was with the foreigner at the time of the accident, was discovered. And once they knew the whereabouts of the local woman, they were given information, I guess by her, as to the whereabouts of the Russian man. It was explained that this incident began when the suspect was driving his female friend in a car, and they were going shopping near the scene of the incident. They arrived at the location. The Russian man parked his car in front of an entrance to a boarding house in Jimbaran. The suspect's car was blocking the entrance and the exit to the boarding house where the victim lived. Not long after parking, the victim came riding a motorbike, and the entrance was blocked. Now, 2 different versions of this. He tapped on the window, or the female that was with him tapped on the window, asking to reverse or move the vehicle forward so they could get in. But the Russian apparently did not accept being reprimanded, and he got out of his car and immediately became angry. And all this was on the video that went viral. There were some words being exchanged between the Russian and the Indonesian, and between the Indonesian female who was with the Russian and another Indonesian woman who was not on video. So there was just the 2 guys and the Indonesian woman, the partner of the Russian, who were on the video. And there were some words being exchanged, and the Russian started to walk away. He suddenly turned around, pushed the woman out of the way, and grabbed the victim by the neck, pushed him up against the wall, and then whacked him a couple of times, and fists were being thrown. The Indonesian was fighting back. Woman that was off camera was screaming, "Help, help, help, help." And some other people came, and they were able to get the foreigner to back off. And at that point, he left. The victim suffered bruises on several parts of his face. This Russian guy was a big guy, big muscular guy, and the Indonesian he was beaten on was a little skinny dude. So it was not a fair fight by any means. But it's clear from the start here that the Russian threw the first punch. The Russian is being charged under Article 351, Paragraph 1, which carries a maximum sentence of 2 years and 8 months in prison. And wow, the talk on social media is, don't let this guy just be deported. We just deport these people and they keep doing the same things, attacking local people. Put them in jail and let them sit in jail, and then deport them after they're in jail. And that seems to be the common feeling at this point. And even my wife, who is usually very mellow about this kind of stuff, she laughs about foreigners. When she saw this video of this big guy pounding on this little guy, she said, yeah, put him in jail so that people stop doing this. Because the next story is going to be about some more foreigners beating on some Indonesians because of a misunderstanding. So let's take a look at that one. 2 foreigners arrested for beating on 2 Indonesians. North Kuta police finally arrested 2 foreigners who were perpetrators of the abuse of Pepino Pizza staff. This was last Wednesday. The 2 foreigners were from Belgium, and they were arrested several hours after the victim reported to the police. The alleged crime occurred at dawn Wednesday in Canggu. Where else? Prior to the incident, a foreign woman whose identity was unknown ordered a one slice of pizza for 30,000 rupias. However, she only wanted to pay 10,000. And so there was an argument that went on between the staff and the woman. So the pizza worker did not want to let this woman go for 10,000 when she was supposed to pay 30,000. They got into an argument, at which point two other foreigners came in to defend her. And according to several stories, they felt that the Indonesian workers, the Indonesian staff, were hitting on this woman. Hitting meaning trying to date her or sexually harassing her. Unclear, according to the stories I've read. But they came in and they hit the first person who had sold the pizza, and then his co-worker, who also came over, was also hit. The first victim suffered an injury to his right cheek, and the second suffered a laceration to his nose, and they have pictures on the internet showing these guys. The police chief stated that the results of a temporary examination of the victim and the perpetrator concluded that the incident occurred due to a misunderstanding. The perpetrator suspected that the two victims seduced the woman they defended, even though the tension was because the woman didn't want to pay the price. The two perpetrators are being charged under Article 351, Paragraph 1, just like the previous story, with a maximum prison sentence of 2 years and 8 months. And this has people riled up as well. We've got two incidents, both viral, of foreigners beating on Indonesians because of some misunderstanding, and, well, people are not happy, and well, understandably so. And the third incident, this has gone viral as well. Two lovebirds making love in public. So this amorous couple were making love in front of the gate of a residence house on Jalan Kayu Aya in Banjar Taman in Krobokan. And this was on Saturday at around 12:45 a.m. This was caught on video. The censorship-worthy scene was discovered by the homeowner because the dog was barking. Not only that, the perverted lovebirds were also caught on the homeowner's surveillance camera. The news went viral on social media after the owner shared snippets of the CCTV footage on social media and on her Instagram account. Something like this, referring to the dirty scene, "Can it be policed or not?" she said. She told the Detik Bali that the lovebirds were having sex in front of her house, one of whom was a foreign citizen, the male, while the woman was an Indonesian citizen. Ayu, the homeowner, explained that the two people were brave enough to jump the fence next to the gate and act in a dirty scene in front of the house. At first, she said, "My husband thought someone was urinating in front of the house. It turned out that when he checked the CCTV, they were having sex. They ran away and jumped over the wall next to the front gate." She said the front of the house is bright, lights are always on, the CCTV is always on, and the fence is padlocked. But they were determined to jump over the fence of someone's house, she said. According to her, strange incidents often occur in front of her house. Oh, wow, maybe she's got a ghost. There were tourists who vomit in front of the house and urinate carelessly. However, she said this incident was the worst. She plans on making a report to the North Kuta police today. So it just never ends. It never ends. And of course, people are continuing to be upset by this, and especially when you get these physical assaults. Fortunately for us up here in Bulang, I have not heard of any incidents like this. Well, none that have made the news anyway. If anybody from up here has heard about some strange things, either problems with Indonesians starting something or foreigners starting something, and you want to talk about it, leave a comment below. Okay, let's get on to some touristy stuff. Ulun Danu weighted new vehicle design. That's not a great title, but let's see. Ulun Danu Baratan tourist attraction in Candi Kuning in Batariti is going to add 2 new rides to increase its attraction for tourists. All right, let's push that Balinese culture. These 2 new attractions are called the Kecak Dance on Water and Cactus Garden in the Belly of a Dinosaur. Whoa, Belly of a Dinosaur. Okay, the Belly of a Dinosaur is going to be completed by the end of this year, according to the article, while the Kecak Dance on Water will only be worked on in 2025, only completed in 2025. The Ulun Danu Baratan manager, Wayan Mustika, said the two new rides were part of management's efforts to provide additional entertainment for tourists after the increase in ticket prices, which I've talked about 2 or 3 times already. Especially for the cactus part, he said it will be completed by the end of 2023 because now progress has reached 70%. He said the cactus part was designed to provide a different feel for tourists because cactus is synonymous with summer, while Ulun Danu Baratan is synonymous with winter. We wanted to give the visitors a different feeling that in cold places they can also enjoy hot climate plants. Meanwhile, the Kechik dance on water will be performed every weekend starting in 2025. Pak Mustika hopes that with these new rides, tourists will not feel bored. He said, essentially, we're currently making arrangements for domestic tourists to increase next year, and so we want to keep people interested and active so that they don't complain about the tourist prices going up. And I've talked about what the prices are, so I'm not going to go over that again. But it is nice to see Balinese culture being pushed everywhere. Let's have some more dinosaurs. I know that that's a big part of Balinese culture. So more and more theme park-like attractions in Bali. And more. Sandi invites ASEAN Airlines to open direct flights to Indonesia. Pak Sandiaga said 2 days ago, I attended a direct flight from Hanoi to Jakarta and there's Ho Chi Minh City to Jakarta and Denpasar. I've invited more direct flights to Indonesia as the center of ASEAN, he said, namely Jakarta and Bali, but also other destinations in the countries. This is very popular with several countries, and we've had discussions with Laos and Cambodia to increase direct flights to Indonesia. Pak Sandiaga explained that the Indonesian government had added direct flight routes from Vietnam to Indonesia. According to him, by opening direct flights between Hanoi and Jakarta, and previously Ho Chi Minh City to Jakarta and Ho Chi Minh City to Bali, South Korean tourists could be attracted to come to Indonesia. Why? Well, according to the results of a survey conducted by the ASEAN Korea Center in 2022, out of 1,000 respondents, the ASEAN member country most visited by tourists from South Korea, Vietnam, followed by Thailand and the Philippines. By opening direct flights from Vietnam to Indonesia, it's hoped to attract South Korean tourists who will continue their vacations into Indonesia. Apart from that, the Minister of Tourism and Creative Economy revealed that tourist destinations that are very popular with foreign tourists from ASEAN are Bali and Jogja. Pak Sandiaga said this is in great demand with tourists from several ASEAN countries. For example, tourists from Laos and Cambodia want to come here. In fact, there's also interest from the UAE and South Korea to increase the number of flights to Indonesia. For 2023, the Minister of Tourism and Creative Economy is targeting 8.5 million foreign visits to Indonesia. This target is an increase of 1.1 million compared to the 7.4 million visits set at the beginning of 2023. Let's bring in more and more tourists. I say this every week, right? Hey, the more the merrier. And I'm sure they're all quality tourists who are going to spend big bucks and not pound on anybody or have sex in public. And here's an interesting tourist story about local tourists. Local tourists expelled by security, defended by head of Bali Tourism Department. Beach is not part of the hotel, and this has been going on as long as I've been here, this kind of stuff. The incident of local tourists being chased away by hotel security when they wanted to sunbathe on a beach was regretted by the head of Bali Tourism Department. He also defended the tourists because he said the beach is not part of the hotel. So Pak Pamayun, who I've talked about many, many times, said he was very concerned about this incident at the Mulia Resort and Villas Nusa Dua. He said that Geger Beach, which is there, is a public area. Regarding this incident, he said he's coordinated with the chairman of PHRI Badung, and the coordination was carried out so PHRI Badung can remind its members so that similar incidents do not happen in the future. He also said that access to the beach must be strictly maintained and open to the public. He will soon hold meetings with Bali Tourism Management Task Force regarding the incident at Geger Beach, as well as discussing other incidents in Bali. When asked about whether any sanctions would be given to the hotel, he admitted that he's going to discuss this at the meeting. He said, In the future, if the public experiences something similar, they are advised to immediately report it to the tourism office and Satpol PP in the district or city where the incident occurred. He said so. This is so that the department can take quick steps at the location. He hopes that in the future incidents will not happen like this again at Bali because the beach is a public place. And this seems to often be forgotten by some of the hotels and little restaurants that are there if you happen to be in their space. It's like, get out of the way if you're not buying something. Beach is a public area. You can't buy the beach. Okay, that's it for today. I have a new project. I'm cutting alcohol bottles and making glasses out of them. So far, I've been kind of successful. 7 good glasses out of 18 bottles. The others were trashed. But as I found out from all my online sources, they said, yeah, this happens. You just have to keep going. You'll eventually get it, and then it's pretty easy. I hope so. Thanks for viewing. Be kind to someone today. Stay safe. And I will see you next time.